You know that feeling? Like, we're always just one step away from things getting really chaotic. With tech feeling so fragile and, well, just general anxiety about society,
Yeah.
it's definitely out there.
Okay, let's unpack this. Today we're doing a deep dive into something called Blastproof David's Shield.
Able.
It's this program that claims it's got a pretty unique way to handle survival and getting prepared. So our mission here is to really get into its approach, see what makes it tick, what sets it apart from, everything else.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here is how David's Shield tries to cut through all that noise, all the information overload you get with preparedness. It's not just another list of stuff to buy, right?
Yeah.
It's presented as a whole system. And it blends different kinds of knowledge. It specifically mentions drawing on biblical wisdom, but also the timeless knowledge of the Amish way of life.
Hmm.
That's the interesting part, how it shifts focus. Less about fancy tech, maybe more towards like core principles,
Yeah.
self-sufficiency, community, maybe even faith.
Mm.
It's a different angle on resilience. Definitely sounds different. So, blast-proof David Shield. The description calls it a faith-driven guide
Mm-hmm.
for surviving, well, one of these pressing threats facing humanity today, specifically mentioning the collapse of civilization from an EMP, an electromagnetic pulse that could knock out the grid, or just other major breakdowns. And it's linked to a Henry Morris, who they say is a seasoned survival expert. What's the core idea behind his philosophy?
Well, the philosophy is distinct, yeah. It's framed as going beyond just basic survival skills. It explicitly pulls from, like you said, biblical wisdom, but also practical survival techniques and that Amish way of life.
Mhm.
The stated goal is protecting families if, the grid fails and chaos takes over. It even mentions preparing for what some users might see as an impending beast system from the Book of Revelation, but the emphasis seems less on complicated gear and more on practical biblical solutions. Which could mean anything, really. Maybe learning old school canning or building local networks, kind of like the Amish model, right?
That is a unique mix. And here's where it gets really interesting. It's apparently not just for EMPs. According to their FAQs, the same principles help you prep for like everyday disasters too, hurricanes or earthquakes. One person even said it got their family through a 9-day blizzard. Plus, they say it's for beginners, works in an urban area, and you don't need special tools or a lot of space. How does something rooted in, well, biblical ideas manage to be so versatile for all these different situations and places?
That's a really good question. And the testimonials, they actually give some clues there. There's one from Sarah, a buyer, who said she looked at dozens of prepping guides, but David Shield was the only one that truly made sense. She liked the biblical approach combined with practical, no-nonsense advice. Said it gave her peace of mind. And then there's Lisa. She went through a major blizzard and lost power for 9 days. She credits the off-grid heat and food storage tips from David Shield, said her family didn't just survive, they stayed calm and well prepared. So it seems the actual methods are adaptable, practical stuff, even if the framework is faith-based. The core ideas seem universal.
That makes sense. Practicality is key. And speaking of who it's for, their FAQs make a point of clarifying something. Even though some descriptions mention it's for men leading families, the program is not only for men, which obviously broadens its appeal quite a bit. So putting all this together, the philosophy, the versatility, the accessibility, what does this all mean? What's the bottom line for listeners trying to figure out preparedness?
I think it means David Shield is positioning itself as a serious alternative. It aims to give you not just the skills, but maybe the mindset to thrive in the aftermath with faith, wisdom, and a well-prepared home.
What seems to make it stand out is that focus on, let's say, accessible wisdom over just buying expensive tech. It looks like a comprehensive strategy, covering water, food, making your home safe, and doing it in a way that doesn't require you to be an expert prepper already or to live out in the woods somewhere.
Okay, so summing it up. Blastproof David Shield looks like a unique take. It's faith-driven, yes, but heavily focused on practical skills. Blends older wisdom with current needs, seems applicable to lots of different disaster types, and designed to be pretty accessible, beginner-friendly, even if you're in a city. Exactly. And if you want to zoom out, connect this to the bigger picture.
Right.
You have to ask, right? In a world that feels increasingly unstable, what does real preparedness look like if the tech fails us? How much can older wisdom, whether it's biblical or Amish or something else, actually help with truly modern challenges? It leaves you thinking about that balance, doesn't it, between self-reliance, maybe faith, and leaning on your community when things get tough.